855-400-7282. I want to next go to Michelle Obama, who has an obsession with saying one thing and doing another, like someone I know. Let's start with clip 4 on her favorite things to eat, and then you'll understand what I'm about to do.
Dude, what's your question?
What is your favorite thing to eat?
My favorite thing to eat? Okay, so I'm going to give you my favorite healthy thing to eat, which actually is my favorite thing to eat. Pizza.
Jeez.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
but
God.
if I'm really being bad, right, and if I want my favorite junk food, some kids asked me this just the other day. One of my favorite junk foods are French fries. I love French fries.
So as a result of her obsession with French fries and her inability to control her weight, she's acting out on the children by forcing them to eat lettuce and tomatoes and vegetables. Now, I have nothing against lettuce and tomato and vegetables. I've lobbied for this kind of food my whole life by writing books for children and children's diets. But anyone who imposes this on children is conducting a war on children in a way that I defined in 1983 in my book, The Skeptical Nutritionist, which I called food fascism. And it begins maybe with food fascism or soda fascism, as in the case of Mayor Bloomberg. But it doesn't end with food fascism or soda fascism. It only begins with food fascism or soda fascism. And so Michelle Obama imposes lunches on the children which they don't want, which they reject, which they're not buying. The schools are losing a fortune, and the schools are opting out of these stupid programs because the kids won't eat that garbage. And so Congress finally hears the people and trying to pass a bill to let the children eat a little better food that they actually need for growing. Because let me tell you something, as an expert in nutrition who's written many books on children's health, children need different diets than you do. They need much more fat than you do. You may not know that, but if you feed your child a no-fat diet, as many of you are mistakenly doing, if you raise your child on such obtuse diets as those you have been brainwashed into eating, your child is probably suffering from malnutrition. So let's go to the real meat of the show today, a little story out of New York. Headline, white police lieutenant awarded $1.35 million in racial discrimination lawsuit. A Long Island police lieutenant has been awarded $1.35 million in his racial discrimination lawsuit against the village of Freeport, Long Island. You see, Lieutenant Christopher Barella, who is white, evil white man, had accused the village of awarding the police chief's job to a Hispanic officer with almost no qualifications and a lower test score. The former mayor, Andrew Hardwick, was a defendant in the case, but could not be reached for comment. He was the village's first black mayor, and according to this lawsuit, he passed over as many whites as he could to replace them with less qualified people of color. Barella had charged that Hardwick terminated and demoted qualified, experienced white men. Barella charged that Hardwick, the African-American mayor at the time, illegally chose Miguel Bermudez for the job of police chief, and he won $1.35 million. So let's look at the actual case and see what you think on the Savage Nation. Now, we all know that discrimination is rampant in America, mainly against white males. That we know. We all know that police departments, in particular fire departments, even corporations, are bending over backwards to hire people of color to show that they're not, let us say, discriminating against people of color. So they hire less qualified people of color. Everyone knows it. Your daughter can tell you about scholarships. Your son can tell you about scholarships. Everybody knows it, but no one will say it. So let's look at the actual case itself. The guy who just won the $1.35 million, the European-American Barella, is 47. He has a master's degree. He came in first on the civil service test for chief of police. Okay, let's start again. He's a Suffolk resident with a master's degree. He came in first on the civil service test for chief of police. Instead, the black mayor named Lieutenant Miguel Bermudez of Freeport, who had no degree, not only not a master's degree, no college degree, lacked the previously required 4 years in his lieutenant position, and came in third on the civil service test. Did you hear? What do you think of that? You know, Orwell warned us about days like this under Obama, where certain individuals would use every trick in the book to turn the rest of the animals into slaves. There was a great article the other day by Alison Pearson in the Telegraph UK called "Are We All Racist Now?" And what's going on in Europe